There's no doubt where the big match of the Premier League weekend is this week in London. It's Liverpool's first trip to Tottenham's new stadium. A massive 28 points between the sides. Liverpool streaking ahead, of course, Craig. Stevie says they've got absolutely no chance of really beating Liverpool, Tottenham. Do you agree with that?
That's a stretch. I mean, anything can happen. We're not talking about an FA Cup game here with, you know, the best team in the country as they are at the moment against a team 3 or 4 divisions down. You know, we're talking about, you know, and you've just said it, the biggest game in England at the weekend for a reason is because 2 of the biggest clubs, albeit Spurs are having their issues at the moment, but I think to say, you know, in terms of there's no chance of it happening is a stretch. You know, obviously Tottenham's league position is a struggle. Mourinho thought he'd be closer to the top 4, which is still gettable, but recent form would tell you otherwise. But I just think, you know, clearly Liverpool are favourites, Ross. Clearly, they're like an unstoppable juggernaut at the moment. But you can never say, particularly with the players that they've got, Tottenham, you can never say, it's never going to happen. I mean, the disparity is not, it's big in the league table, but it's not impossible.
They lost Ndombele, they lost Harry Kane in the last game. I
think it's unlikely it's going to. I think it's unlikely Liverpool's going to lose the game. However, I think it's. I understand where Stevie's coming from, but you know, when you have 2 clubs with the players that they've got, even though they've got the injuries that they've got, you know, Spurs dead and buried against Ajax, Champions League came back. Liverpool dead and buried against Barcelona, Champions League came back. You know, we're talking about 2 teams on their day that can play some good stuff, right? So it's not impossible. I think it's unlikely with the form both are in, but it's not impossible. They are one of the teams that could stop, put it one way, they are one of the Premier League teams that could stop this great run that Liverpool are on, potentially, given they have a very good day.
Yeah, I mean, where the problems are going to lie for Liverpool is just in terms of maybe Mourinho sets them up ultra defensively and they nick them on the break. You can't see Tottenham really going at Liverpool for the counter-attacking threat,
and right? If it does happen, that's the way it probably will happen. It's difficult to see them not scoring. Liverpool, particularly with the issues they've had at the back. On the other, conversely, no Harry Kane now as well. You mentioned Ndombele and 1 or 2 others. There are issues there for Spurs, but they still have very good players. Personally, I'm going against my argument here. I do see Liverpool winning the game, but I just would never stand here and say, it's just never going to happen. I mean, we might as well shut the Premier League down if that's the case. You know, we're hoping that, Mourinho's hoping he's going to get a response from them. But, I mean, when you see, I think it's, I don't know if I saw some, is it 85 of the last 87?
It's something like that because they've dropped one draw this year.
I mean, it is incredible. And it's hard to say it's not going to continue, but you just never know. Tottenham are not the worst side. They're just not having... He's under, put it one way, Mourinho is under pressure to get this Tottenham ship sailing again. Because everything was pretty good at the start. You know, the early Mourinho bounce to play some great stuff, the continuation of the nice football, the goals, and all of a sudden that has stopped with some recent results, and the football's been a little bit ugly as well, and people are starting to ask some more questions again. So he's got his work cut out, but I personally don't see it happening against this Liverpool. This Liverpool side have just been so consistently good. It's hard to see it happening, but otherwise, if nobody thinks it's going to happen, we might as well not switch on the TV and watch the game.
Well, at least 2 people think it's going to happen, at least. It's Jose Mourinho and the press officer.
Well, he's snookered if he's the only 2 that think it's going to happen, because he's got a squad of 20 players, and if they don't think it's going to happen, it's definitely not going to happen.
Mourinho touting that Tottenham do believe. We'll see how they stand come Saturday night, but certainly unmissable action. Full coverage here, as always, at ESPN FC as we get into all of the results from another big weekend.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.